You know, in the beginning of the story, when the angel came to Mary, the angel greeted the Mary by saying, "You, in a nutshell, you are special. Do you know that you are special?" So turn to your neighbor and say, "Do you know that you're special?" Now, doesn't it feel good to be called special? Cerny, did you know you're special? Thank you. And Mary said, she was a little suspicious. What? And most of us, when someone says, "Oh, you're so special," what do we say? "What do you want?" You're so special. Well, what does it mean to be special? Well, in this context, it means to be more than ordinary. It means to be more than flesh and bone, more than what you see in your life when you wake up in the morning at times. To be special means to know that you are more than meets the eye, that you are a being of spirit, of body, of mind, of soul, and that you are here to give birth to Christ. Now, Christ is a title which means anointed one. In Unity, we use the term Christ. We do not say that we have exclusive rights. There are many other traditions with many other names seeking to point to the same thing. But Christ, when we use the term Christ, we're referring to an archetype, if you will, or the part of our identity that is always divine, will always be divine, can never be anything other than the Son, the likeness, the image of God, the daughter, the reflection of God. That is who we are. And we are also earthbound beings trying to have the two come together as one. Now, Mary is that place in us that recognizes and can hold the truth, "I am special," meaning I am more than meets the eye. Say it with me. I am special. I am special. Meaning I am more than meets the eye. In South Africa, there is a tradition among the women of a tribe. The whole tribe recognizes this tradition. But when a young woman is married to a man, before they are ready to have children, if they know they want to have children, the young African woman leaves her tribe and she goes away. And what she is seeking to do is to connect with the soul of her unborn child. And she stays away as long as it takes until she is said to connect with the soul of the unborn child that is seeking to come into this world through her body. And she knows she's ready when she is given the soul song for that new baby. And when she has received this little song, she goes back to her village and she teaches the villagers the baby's soul song. And all the villagers begin to sing the child's soul song. And on the day when the child is born, all who are surrounding sing the baby's soul song. As the child begins to grow up, every time it experiences some sort of rite of passage, when it accomplishes something, the whole village gathers to sing their soul song. Now, can you imagine if that happened to you when you were born? And in that spirit of love, if all the people you knew would gather around you at times in your life and sing a song that represented your name, that represented the truth of who you were. Now, the reason they're doing this is because that child is going to learn their own song. And that child is soon going to learn how to sing their own song, which says, "This is my name, this is the truth of who I am." And it's always, in their tradition, every single part of creation is part of the Creator. And so you may be the Deb of God, the Vi of God, the Joanne of God, the Tom of God. They sing their soul song. Mary is the part of our awareness, our consciousness, that can hold the truth of who you are, your true identity. Why is that important? When I was in seminary in Kansas City, it was 2 years we had to live on campus and went through an extensive program. And one of the things that we did during one of our terms was a hospital chaplaincy. Now, we did other chaplaincy programs that I didn't mind at all. I enjoyed working at Silent Unity. We did that for a chaplaincy. We worked at Unity, the Association of Unity Churches. I enjoyed that. But when it came my time to serve as a hospital chaplain, I dreaded it, I have to admit. I've never been one to be in an operating room scene. I was afraid I'd pass out and had other fears that I did not want to come up and embarrass myself. So there were 3 possible hospitals where we could have completed our internship, and the worst one is Truman Medical Center in Kansas City. It's a big, inner city, huge hospital with lots of very serious stuff. So which one do you think I got? I got that one. And I had to do this for 10 weeks and go periodically and spend the night where you actually go and you sleep at the hospital, you carry the beeper, and you're on call. So if anything comes up in the emergency room or a patient needs you, you're the one they call. Well, I had been doing this, I think this was my 3rd time, and I was just in knots. I did not like it. And that particular night had been a rough night. I was really on the brink of having a crisis of faith, because I was seeing people in pain. That particular night, I had spent a lot of time in the emergency room because a meth lab blew up, and people were in, and it was just crazy. Police officers were there. It was chaotic. And the next morning, when it was my time to clock out and go home, I was in the little room where the chaplain who was going to relieve me would soon be in, and I was completing my final paperwork when I felt her presence come in the room. And I turned and looked, and it was this little Catholic woman who came into the room. And the minute I saw her, I don't know why, but I burst into tears. And she looked at me and said, "What is wrong?" And I just said, "I don't know how you do this." I mean, she chose it as her job. And I thought, I cannot wait to get through with this. How do you do it? What do you say? I explained some of the scenarios, and I said, what do you possibly say to people? And she walked over and she picked up a stack of papers, and that stack of papers was the report for everybody in the hospital. And she held that up and she said, "It doesn't matter what you say." She said, "It really doesn't." She said, "The only thing that matters is what you know." And she turned and she walked out of the room. Now, when I sat there, I really heard that. What do I know? What did Mary know about the truth of who she was? And what perhaps did I need to know about the truth of who I was? And if I was so rooted and grounded in it, then everyone that I went to visit, rather than being afraid of the pain I may step into, I could realize that there was nowhere that God was not. There's no one that is not the likeness and image of God. There's nothing happening where God is not in the midst, and that I am okay. I needed to know that at a deeper level to give me a level of comfort to walk anywhere and to sit and hold the hand of anyone and absolutely know that there was hope, and to know that they were the likeness, the image of God, no matter what was happening. So I went home early that morning, and when I went to sleep, I had a dream. And I dreamed about my grandmother, and this particular grandmother was just powerful, both of them were, but this grandmother especially was an incredible influence on my life. I spent a lot of time with her growing up. She was part Cherokee and had a real connection to the earth. And in my dream, I remembered my grandmother, when I was a child on their farm, she would gather these long sticks and bundle them together, and she would go outside. When things got busy or hectic, she would go outside and she would sweep the ground. Now, it was kind of sandy. This is North Carolina, kind of close to the coastal area, so there's a lot of sand. So she would go outside and sweep the sand. Cerny, will you give me that? And in my dream, I remembered what my grandmother used to sing when she would go outside and sweep. She would say, "I know that I know that I know. Yes, I know that I know that I know. God is real. God is real. I know that I know that I know." And when my grandmother, I called her grandmama, she'd sing that just like that, like an old gospel song a few times.